Greetings my excellent friends, you have landed on Planet Rewind and it's time for James Bond. Yes, we talk about Bond every Monday on this channel, so let's get into it. Now you may remember I did a video a couple of weeks ago like this where I'm in front of my computer going through kind of an article about a kind of Bond list, and the last one was talking about the actors who almost played James Bond over the years. You know, Sam Neill, you know, Mel Gibson was even considered at a time, you know, Henry Cavill, who's my choice to play James Bond out of any actor right now. So that was a fun video. I just went through and kind of looked at the different names that used to be in the mix. This one I'm going to be going through and looking at the names that are in the mix to replace Daniel Craig in the next James Bond movie after No Time to Die. So these are actors who are just kind of actors who names are linked to James Bond and who people possibly think could be James Bond. So let's go through it. It's Esquire, and I'll put the link to the article in the comments. Let's go through Esquire. Who will actually be the next James Bond? Let's have a look. Tom Hardy, yeah. I've been always talking about Tom Hardy since Daniel Craig kind of brought this grittier, darker edge to Bond. I would say Tom Hardy fits it. I like his kind of... He's always been a down dirty kind of actor, hasn't he? He's always had that grit to him, you know, and that grime and that kind of street level and that toughness. And he's a great actor. And I also think that as a follow-on from Daniel Craig, to kind of cast another tough Bond, to keep that kind of humanity and aggression going, that would be good. I reckon Tom Hardy would be a good choice. It says here that Pierce Brosnan has backed him. Pierce Brosnan backed everyone to be Bond. I reckon Pierce Brosnan would back Mr. Blobby to be Bond. I love you, Pierce. I love you to death, but he just seems like every way you hear, Pierce Brosnan's like, yeah, Gillian Anderson should be Bond. This guy should be Bond. Pierce, calm down, mate. Just think it through before you talk about it again, because not everyone should be James Bond.
What, no small talk? No chit-chat?
Hardy has the brooding look, the magnetism and the maverick streak in spades. Yeah, exactly. He has got that kind of... I know he's kind of like a geezer in his movies, and you don't really want that for James Bond, but you can have the kind of edge of that. The kind of living on the edge of the working class, because Bond isn't supposed to be a rich kid, so it would be interesting to see that. So yeah, I think Tom Hardy has the kind of the charisma, the kind of starring aura and the toughness to be Bond. Idris Elba, yep, I always talk about Idris Elba as Bond. Now he's actually younger than I thought, you know, I remember it floating around that he was like 50 odd and he was too old to be Bond. He's actually 47. Now it may sound old, but Roger Moore was like 46 when he first played Bond in Live and Let Die. Obviously he went on too long, but you could have Idris Elba do a couple of Bond films. I think Idris Elba's a great choice. I think he's got the real kind of slickness to him, that real personality, that real charm, that real swagger. But the extravagance, you know, he's different to Tom Hardy for sure. You know, he's got the kind of the more classy James Bonds, and you know, there's so many different types of James Bond and different actors can kind of embody that. Apparently Idris Elba's sick of being asked about James Bond and he doesn't really answer questions about it, it says here, so I don't know if we will see him, but I think he'd be good. James Norton, who is this guy, man? It's like, I mean, I'm under no delusions, like, that's like casting me as Bond. Look at him. Like, one, he looks too young, two, he looks too nice. Like, I mean, what's going on? This is an actor from some BBC dramas. I don't know, again, I haven't seen any of his work, you know, all these ones that I'm criticising, it's kind of unfair because I haven't seen any of his work, but for me he looks a bit too young. Just based on look, he looks a bit too young and not that imposing. James Bond's got to be intimidating, you know. He can look welcoming. I mean, Pierce Brosnan fairly looks welcoming, but he's also intimidating. This guy, I don't know, but maybe, who knows. Sam Heughan from Outlander. Now, he looks a bit more interesting. Looks quite fairly young, but also not too kind of innocent to be James Bond. And it says here, though, he would like to see a Scottish Bond again. So he's Scottish, but he says it's not a no. So it's in speculation this guy would be Bond. I haven't seen him in anything, but Sam Heughan, he looks, I guess he could be fairly impressive. I mean, all these actors, you've always got to see him in the part, you know, you think about it. Daniel Craig's name was floating around, no one wanted him as Bond, and then you saw him in the films and he convinced you. So it's difficult with all of these. Jack Lowden, Right, okay, so based on look, that guy looks like he could play in a Dumb and Dumber sequel. I'm sorry, that sounds mean, that sounds unkind, but he looks like a comedy actor. He doesn't look like James Bond. He doesn't look aggressive. Oh, I don't know. Jack Lowden, what's he been in? It's just a bunch of TV shows. Oh no, he's been in Dunkirk and this and that. It's a shame I haven't seen a lot of these actors. Let's go on to another one. Michael B. Jordan. Now, Michael B. Jordan, I think, is fantastic in Creed. I think he's phenomenal. I genuinely think that he actually reinvented the Rocky series and actually made it worthwhile again. It wasn't Stallone, it was Michael B. Jordan. He's stunning in those. And you know what? He's got something about him. He's got a real personality, a real energy, a real toughness, a real charisma, and a real likability. And I think sometimes we forget with James Bond, he's also got to be likeable. He's got to be not too smug, and I think Michael B. Jordan has that human element. He could be kind of a human Bond. I like him. I think he's a charismatic actor, so yeah, we go. Could be Michael B. Jordan. Richard Madden, looking like, again, like, I don't know. Like, he's been in Bastille Day, he's been in Bodyguard. I don't think that the key is to just cast a handsome guy. There has to be more going on than just a handsome guy, and it seems like it here. But I haven't seen any of his stuff, so let's keep going. Riz Ahmad has been in Nightcrawler, Four Lions and Night of, and I guess, you know, that's another choice of colour. Riz Ahmad, you know what, at this stage in James Bond, I'll never be behind a female Bond, ever. Never. Because it's written as a man. But I would be so up for Michael B. Jordan, Idris Elba, you know, maybe Riz Ahmad. I actually like the look of the guy there. I think he looks charming. I think he's got an interesting, distinct smartness to him. So, you know, I haven't seen any of him either, but he'd be interesting. Tom Hiddleston. Now, this is one I've always liked the idea of. Now, I remember watching Kong Skull Island, and all throughout it I was going, this guy should be James Bond. Like, I just think based on looks, I think Tom Hiddleston's probably the one the most appropriate. That picture there, no, that's I don't know why it's showing that picture for him being Bond. But if you actually look at him normally in roles, I think he's got the kind of that look on the face that I noticed in a lot of Bonds, like Pierce Brosnan, like Roger Moore, that confidence, that almost arrogance, but you also like them, and I think Tom Hiddleston's got that. And he's also an action, rough and tumble guy. I think you can buy him. I mean, he's kind of got all the right elements. And he's also in the Avengers, of course, so that automatically makes him awesome, but he apparently said in an interview, no one has talked to me about it, so I don't think we're going to see Tom Hiddleston anytime soon. Daniel Kaluuya from Black Panther, Widows, and Get Out. Again, I haven't seen Get Out. I still have not seen Get Out, which is probably, I don't know why I haven't seen it. And I haven't seen Hereditary either. There's lots of these big horror films that came out I just haven't seen. But you know what? You know, I'm very open to a James Bond of colour. I very much am. I think that's the series. That's the diversity the series needs to go with. We don't need a female. We need the females to be strong, but we don't need a female. And you know what? You know, this guy could be good. You know, haven't seen anything again, but you know, he could be good. Henry Cavill, it's always got to be there. He's been dancing around the park for years. It's actually rumoured now that he will be Superman and James Bond. Henry Cavill's the most likely, which is incredible. Can you imagine getting to a point in the world where Superman is James Bond and James Bond is Superman? Two extremely distinct performances. So if he was playing these alongside each other, it'd be fascinating. It'd be an unprecedented thing in Hollywood, I think. Obviously, he actually was considered for the part way back when he was 23. I think at the moment, Henry Cavill on Earth is the most person I would cast as James Bond on Earth. By far, I think he's fabulous, you know, just exudes that Bond look and charm. I don't want to see him playing it alongside Superman. You know what? I probably want to see him. There are other actors on Earth that I could see as Superman, There are not many other actors on earth I could see as James Bond. You know, Henry Cavill is one of those actors, so if I was to choose one, it'd be James Bond for Henry Cavill. Aidan Turner, right, is this handsome guy on this TV show who constantly gets his kit off, you know, and gets gawped at by the ladies. That's not James Bond, and his name has been really in the mix. Aidan Turner, he doesn't look tough, he doesn't look intimidating, he looks... I mean, I'm not going to judge a man's looks, but he's on TV getting his kit off for women. That's not James Bond. It's not. You're not just attractive and then you're James Bond. No, you need to be tough. You need to be imposing. You need to be intimidating. You need to be able to fight. And I feel like all he's known for is his looks. You know, and that's just not what I go with Bond. Because if we were doing that, we cast Hugh Grant as Bond. We cast all these kind of actors who are good looking and English but couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag. Damian Lewis, this is interesting. This guy looks older. He's approaching 50. He's been in Homeland, but wow, that's an interesting look. I think we need Bond to look distinct, and whenever Aidan Turner's not distinct, he's generic good looking, and that's another reason he's not appropriate, but this guy looks distinct. And I like anything you can have in James Bond that's distinct. And you know what? He's pretty good. Apparently he read a audiobook of Diamonds Are Forever. John Boyega. I like Rise of Skywalker a hell of a lot. Whenever I think of anyone involved with the new Star Wars series, I'm kind of drawn down the path of identifying them with The Last Jedi. Rise of Skywalker is amazing. So actually I forgive John Boyega now. But should he be James Bond? He's a bit too young. I could see him being in a James Bond movie, but I just think as Bond himself, maybe not. I just think he's a bit too rebellious to be James Bond, at least from what I've seen. Again, all these people could be cast as Bond and blow me away. Henry Golding, Crazy Rich Asians. He just looks like he's been considered because he's handsome, and no, he looks too young. Definitely looks too young. But yeah, there we go. There's just a list of people, me saying they look too young, they look too old, they look too this and that. No, I was fair. I would consider most of these people on the list. But it's just silly, like the whole, like him and Aidan Turner, they've even thrown Harry Styles' name into the mix. No, we're not just getting handsome guys and placing them as James Bond because they're handsome. That's just no chance in my book. And we're not getting a woman just to have a woman, because it makes no sense. Stop doing those things, But there's names on this list which would be interesting. I'm still rooting for Henry Cavill. Tom Hardy would be up there for me. Idris Elba, Tom Hiddleston, they'd be up there for me. Riz Ahmed, I think could be interesting too. We need someone who can kind of take the series, and just as charismatic. We need a charismatic Bond on the next one, because Daniel Craig, he's serious, he was kind of gloomy, he was human, but Henry Cavill could have that, but he could be kind of that energetic Bond again. He kind of has a bit of Pierce Brosnan about him, so I'm rooting for that. I'm rooting for the fun to come back a bit in the next James Bond films. So yeah, whoever the next James Bond is, I am very interested. What do you think of this list? I will link it in the comments below if you want to check it out yourself. Let me know who you would like to be the new James Bond after No Time to Die. Please consider subscribing to this channel. I talk about James Bond every Monday on this channel, and I talk about nostalgic content all throughout the week. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.